Welcome to the DC Watchtower, a nerdy bunch podcast where we discuss DC movies and TV shows. My name's Dave, and joining me because it's in its programming to do so, it's my co-host Andrew. What's up, Andrew?
What's up, David?
We're here to talk Creature Commandos, episode 3, titled Cheers to the Tin Man.
To the Tin Man.
The synopsis is as follows. When the Creature Commandos arrive at the manor to save the bride and Nina, G.I. Robot relives his glory days in the war and beyond and finally gets his wish. I feel like this episode, for better or for worse, in my case, I think it's for better, it gives us a maybe a hint of what we're going to be expecting from this series going forward in terms of the how we're going to see the story, right? Flashbacks intercut with what's happening now to inform what's happening now and back and forth with each individual character. And, you know, I like that and I like this episode. But one of my criticisms of this episode, and I hope it's not something going forward, is that you kind of know it's going to be that story of a character that's kind of overlooked or looked at a certain way, and then we're going to get a new perspective of that character by the end of the episode. Rinse and repeat kind of thing. And I hope it's as strong by the last one as it is on the first one. I hope we don't get some kind of fatigue from that. In that sense. And I think part of that is, unfortunately, these episodes are too short, so we move through beats very quickly.
No time to digest.
Yes, exactly. There's no digesting time, and I think it's going to make some of these things feel repetitive. Though I did enjoy this episode. The focus, as the title goes, is on the Tin Man. We learn about him, but I feel like as the journey progresses, as the audience, you're almost a step ahead every time because you kind of know where it's going.
Yeah.
And I will say, to be fair, we do get surprises in the main storyline, which I think that kind of works to balance it out. What did you think of this episode, spoiler free?
So you're right. Number one, very short. Feels like we kind of flew through. I didn't mind the flashback, the backstory. It's nice to always get some color as to how a character is the way they are. I found him funny, honestly, a little bit. I like Tin Man. And even the end of the episode was a little bit of a shocker, a little bit of a surprise, which I'm kind of hoping maybe to counter your fear of, them just focusing on backstories. Based on the way it ended, I'm hoping there's a lot more twists they're going to be giving us, right? I feel like they could, sure, we want to see backstory, right? But there are other ways to do it. It doesn't always have to be, spliced in or the colloquial, English, traditional way. But I thought it was an okay episode. Honestly, I didn't love it. I wasn't raving about it. But I think it was decent. I enjoyed it. But I guess I also maybe share your fear of, I hope this show is not traditional. I think last podcast I mentioned that these guys are a bunch of weirdos, right? I really want them to go all in on the weird, right? Almost like Doom Patrol. I mean, I don't know if you ever watched that.
I did.
Doom Patrol was super weird, right? And they leaned heavily into that weirdness. But this almost felt weird, but safe at the same time, right? It's not really so far delving deep into that. But I don't know, based on the ending, I have some interesting hopes or maybe theories or maybe projections that I hope that's the direction they kind of take it in. And don't get me wrong, I do want to see more backstory. I'm gonna know about all of them and flesh out the characters, but I guess in more of a creative way for whatever that means. So I thought it was a good episode. Not great, not fantastic, but not bad. And maybe that's down to the timing as well, because it's
I think so.
It's we're here, now this, and it's whoa, take a second. Let me even, especially based on the way the last episode ended, right? I feel like that was resolved super quickly. Not gonna spoil it yet, but that was my one nitpick. I was like,
because it leaves you on tension. The last episode left you on tension, and then it kind of just quickly dissolved straight away.
And not even dissolved in a grand way. I feel like it was just okay. But I won't spoil that yet. But I feel like they definitely could, I guess, give us more, I don't know, detail in some of the things. But it's partially due to the episode timings, which it's whatever. It's not the only show that has short timings. But look at X-Men, for example. X-Men, was it 97? Was that show recorded? The episodes weren't super long, but
No, it's
I
about the
feel
same
like
length, actually.
they really dealt with the material in a more, did I say broad? Or basically, I preferred how they kind of paced the
Yeah, yeah.
stories, right? It felt
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I
yeah.
got to digest individual storylines and even joint storylines a little bit more. So yeah, that was kind of my nitpick. Some things
Hmm.
just felt super quick in how they were resolved. But yeah, I enjoyed Tin Man's flashback. And the way it ended, I feel like is gonna lead to some deeper things.
And I think, again, it continues in a positive way, continues to show James Gunn's knack for taking like lesser characters and
Mhm.
non-traditional characters and adding some heart to them and finding
Yeah,
unique ways to kind of make us connect with them, because on paper we shouldn't connect with GI Robot, right? He's very
no,
bland, no emotions, very one
yeah,
note. I want to kill Nazis,
Nazis.
that
That's it.
is. But even with those limited tools and ingredients, James Gunn's able to cook something that we can still kind
Mhm.
of feel empathy for and connect
Yeah,
for and
yeah.
feel emotion for. I think that was very well done. I also think James Gunn, I'd like to see him play more in animation, because I think animation suits his weird style.
I agree.
Yeah, and I'd love to see him like fully gone, not 30-minute, no, either full on series, 45 to an hour long each, or a full
Yeah,
on movie. Yeah,
yeah.
I'd love to see more of that. All right, let's get into spoilers.
Perfect time to pause. All right, yeah. Let's spoil. Have you ever said hi to David? Do you even know what David looks like?
Hello.
Hi, Nerdie.
All right, bros. We should have a joint podcast on there with both ladies.
So today with me is I am sorry, I just blanked. Then you say this funny thing in the beginning. I was trying to do that, but blanked. I don't have the talent for that.
That's going to be hilarious for people.
I agree. And now they know I'm not lying when I say I have a wife. All right.
What I really like about this flashback sequence, we know about GI Robot. His story, he was created during World War II, with the programming specifically to kill Nazis, right?
Kill Nazis.
It's his story is that typical unfortunate story that you see the soldiers sent to war.
Yep.
You're trained, you're programmed, go do this, fight for your country, do what it is. You're an amazing soldier. We love you. The war's ended. Okay, we don't need you anymore. Go away.
Yeah. Bye.
Figure it out.
Mhm.
Figure it out yourself. I thought that was really well done through his character, through a robot character, right? Where it's just
Mhm.
like, if my only programming is to kill Nazis and there's no Nazis to kill, what do I do with my life?
Nothing.
And even that sequence where he's just sitting in the prison, the time's just passing by. It's just like, what do you do with your life? What did you think of
Yeah.
his flashback story?
So like I said in the intro, actually, I like this story. I feel like he's a fun character. Especially because I guess I program, I code and write AI, applications, and he feels like an AI. Yeah, so it's fun to see, because that question is it's like a philosophical question, right? After your purpose is fulfilled or no more, what next, right? And I think remember there was a question when theoretically, what would he like to do other than kill Nazis? And he was like, find my friends and kill Nazis.
I love the delivery of that though. It was just like, hang out with,
Slowly.
Easy Company, Sergeant Rock, my boys, and kill
They're
Nazis.
like, oh, exactly. Like, no, not picnics. It's still kill Nazis. But I liked even the way, when he was at the convention, like how closer
Oh,
to the
yes.
end. I love that
Scandal.
scene. I love his like gentle demeanor despite what he was
Mhm.
about to do. He was like, because okay, when his friend said, oh no, when he sat down and they showed the swastika or the
Yes.
symbol, I thought he was gonna go ape shit right there. I'm like, ah, and he was like,
Yes, straight away.
oh, okay. Oh, I'm about to kill all these people, right? And he just stood up calmly and just did his thing. And I really enjoyed how they sliced that though. I like how it was sliced with the present day, and it was basically him going ham in the past and in the present. So that part I
Mhm.
liked. So yeah, I feel like I enjoyed his story. I'm also curious to see what happens next. Like, is there going to be a reprogramming? Is he going to be able to find a new purpose? What is in store for him?
In comic lore, and it isn't confirmed here, but in comic lore, there's a reason why he has the number 2 on his helmet, because he's the second, right? So
Mm.
could we see a number 3? That's a different one, because not necessarily this
Mm.
one's brought back to life, because there's been different versions of GI Robot. I'm not sure how
Yeah.
many, but it's more than 2. And so could we be a different one where it's like it's a similar personality because it's from the same root code, but
Yeah,
slightly
but
different.
slightly
Right?
different, which is a lot different somehow.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Once you change one
In
thing,
the-
you've changed everything essentially.
right. So it's a good. Yeah, I don't believe. Let's talk about that. GI robots killed at the end. Is the death we get? I don't believe it's dead.
No.
Though it could subvert it because we all expect. The only reason we think it's not dead is because it's a robot, not necessarily. I feel like would you have felt the same if it was a real life being? I don't know. So maybe he doesn't come back. I don't know. What do you think?
I think just like you said, it's because he's not organic, right? An organic being, sure, because I mean, duh. But for him, I feel like even with because his head was intact, right? I'm not mistaken. And
Yes,
his
it
head
was.
is intact. I'm pretty sure you can build the rest of the body, right? So who knows? You're right. Maybe now we see GI3. But I definitely don't think he's dead. But I love that scene though. I love how he was also going ham, and Cersei was just like, please, just disappear, robots. That was really nice.
I liked how they visualized the upgrades, right? Because in the opening scene, you see him in World War II, his legs extend, right? This time he hovers up. I thought that was
like
nice.
Inspector. That reminded me of Inspector Gadget. Sorry for whoever he is, an OG. But yeah, I love his upgrades. Right, his little like jetpack hoverboard type thing. That was cool, and I felt like he was gonna do more in that scene. So when Cersei came in, I was like, oh shoot,
I was like, makes sense.
Oops.
Actually, speaking of his upgrades, he's upgraded. We have a little Easter egg, possible Easter egg, right? Because we know that this show is the first narrative officially in the James Gunn-led DC universe, and so a lot of things that we have here we can assume to be canon to some degree or other. How much we get from it going forward, obviously that can
we don't
differ.
know.
But we get Easter egg. Dr. William Magnus is the doctor that once after the war, this years later, starts working with him. And there's one that asked the question, like I said, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
And Magnus is very famous for creating a superhero group known as the Metal Men. And the way I say that is Magnus is been studying GI Robot and was copying the schematics. And in the ward, you can see some schematics for what could possibly be Metal Men. So I'm curious if that's setting up. For those who know the characters, I feel like those characters are perfect because they're those quirky group team characters. That's perfect for James Gunn. So I could see him setting up that for a future narrative. I don't know. We shall see.
Never heard of them. I'm gonna do some research after. That'd be cool.
I liked the mini narrative, again, jumping through time when he gets picked up by that guy who's like, oh, we're gonna work together. What's his name? Sam Fitzgibbon.
Yeah.
Played by Michael Rooker, who, fun fact for those who don't know, Michael Rooker is that one actor that's in every single James Gunn project. In some form. He is Mary Poppins in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, for those who know.
What?
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. Yeah, Yondu, for those who don't really know.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I just saw his picture. I was like, isn't that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he played the what we find out to be some kind of neo-Nazi type guy that took him in. I did like that sequence because he brought him. I knew, again, this is why I said in the spoiler-free segment where you kind of know where it's going.
Predict, yeah, for sure.
I started doing like, I know where this is going. This guy's he's too weird. And we start seeing certain things. I'm like, oh, he's a neo-Nazi. I thought he'd be 100%. More evidently a Nazi.
Yeah,
but he was subtle. But I did like when G.I. just starts looking and starts realizing that he's at some kind of rally, and he's just like, oh boy, because he knows what he's going to do. But he doesn't want to have
I love that it was a slow burn. Yeah, it wasn't like an immediate reaction. It was just like, oh, no. I'm gonna have to. Didn't want to have to do. It's almost like you said in our other podcast, if you guys listen, like a John Wick type of thing. Like, I mean,
yes.
I came here to relax, but
all right. I didn't have to do this. Sorry, I had to kill you. And again, this show continues to show that it does a good balance, right, of showing the grotesque, quote unquote, reality of just firepower and weaponry can do to the body without making it like entertainment in that sense. Like in terms of we're not
guts were spilling out. Oh,
yeah.
Whoa.
What's the word I'm looking for? We're not gratifying it. We're not like making a spectacle of it in this kind of way. Like, ooh, that's so cool. It's really like, oh shit. There's this guy literally trying to put his guts back into his stomach at the same point.
Some guy was shot in the neck and then his finger came off. It's just like terrible ways to die.
Right. You see eyes just fall out. It's split with the head. The head's been split in 6 pieces, something like
Oh.
that. It's just like, oh shit. Like, it's so brutal. The gore of it. I think they do a very good job. I can just imagine the animators drawing all that kind of stuff.
Loved it.
We get another Easter egg, at the beginning when he's with Easy Company and Sergeant Rock. Recently, there have been rumors that there's going to be a Sergeant Rock a spin-off. We're not sure if it's a TV show or a movie, but
Okay.
Daniel Craig, former James Bond, is attached to it, allegedly. So,
Oh, I see this picture
Yeah.
right here.
yeah,
Interesting.
I feel like that could work really
I
well.
like that we are delving into more characters in the broad comic verse, because
Mhm.
that's often been my issue with, I guess, IPs of the past. Like, I don't get, I love Batman, I love Superman, but they keep focusing on them
Same ones.
alone, or they used to always focus on them, and I'm like, there's so much, right? Give us some broad characters, so that would be awesome. I'm down for that.
Actually, I forgot to mention when I talked about that character that played by Michael Rooker, Sam Fitzgibbon. On top of the fact that Michael Rooker is in every single James Gunn movie, James Gunn has another Easter egg he uses. He uses the name Fitzgibbon in every single one of his movies because it's named
What?
after his good friend Larry Fitzgibbon. Yes, every one of his projects has someone called someone Fitzgibbon. Every one of his projects. Look it up. You can find it. I'm sure you'll find it. But
I
yes,
should know this.
it's a nice look. And it's not usually major characters.
Wow.
Usually smaller characters, side characters.
Yeah,
So
like-
you can kind of
like-
miss out on it.
yeah, like Stan Lee type cameos, but in
Yeah,
naming.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. What I was gonna say, I think in terms of the backstory, I thought it was really well done, and understanding who he is, and then we get to see how he became part. Which I find it interesting because again, it goes back to, almost reminds me of Rambo, right? The Rambo story, right? Where Rambo,
yeah.
he comes back from Vietnam, I believe, and then he's a soldier, doesn't know what to do, and then suddenly he's the bad guy, and people are attacking
Yeah.
him because by the end of this, he kills a bunch of Nazis and ends up going to jail for it. But he
Yeah.
was programmed to kill Nazis.
To kill
But the
Nazis,
people that
yeah.
are programmed to kill Nazis are now putting him in jail for the things they
It's
programmed
crazy.
him to do.
Crazy
It's
dog.
just like, which is too real. That's very real,
Yep.
right? You take soldiers out of war and then suddenly you're like, oh yeah, now you can go into the real world. But like, you program them, you train them
Yeah.
for nothing else. And now you
Can't
expect them.
unlearn.
But even then, you're not even helping them to unlearn. You're just throwing them out there,
Yeah.
or throw them in prison, but they're by themselves, right? They never have help that they need. They struggle to find that help, right? And then I think that's kind of where I saw that scene where he's just sitting in the prison and time's just passing by. I think that's a very great visual representation of how they're treated, just left alone until we need you again, all right? And this time for Task Force M, okay, now we can bring you back in again.
Yeah.
Right? And then only just be killed in the line of duty, right? I just thought that's just a great analogy for it. And it's interesting,
So
going back to
relaxing.
the main timeline, right? We talked about the stakes at the end of last episode.
Yeah.
Nina, right? Nina has a great relationship with him, but what did you think? Like, oh, suddenly these bad guys attack them and they just stick her in a tub, essentially saving her life.
I didn't get that, right?
What?
Because I understand the fact that they needed a distraction and they needed them all to go there so they could go to the palace, right? I get that
Yes,
part, but
I like that.
Why save her? Like, that's like extra effort to actually like keep her alive. I mean, like, let her die. Like, I don't give a damn. And just, lock up the bride or whatever. So I was a little confused, but I didn't want to over nitpick. Weren't there like thorns in the bathtub as well?
Yeah,
Right?
barbed wire, so she
Yeah.
can't leave. But that's the thing. We left her gasping for air, right, dying, and then you actively went and picked her up and put her in the tub.
To save her,
You
to
know.
trap her.
That's just like, for what purpose? Though,
Unless maybe if she was dead, the team wouldn't come, or I don't know. Maybe I don't know, but they wouldn't even know she was dead. Yeah, that was weird.
or, and this we're jumping again at the end, maybe there's something to what Cersei's saying. And Cersei, at least Cersei as a her sons of Themyscira or whatever, they're clearly idiots. But she may not necessarily be as bad as we think. Because she said, the way she reacts is, if you do
You know
this
what you've
all,
done.
what have you
Yeah.
done? You done what you've done. So now, because initially, I had a theory which is clearly proven wrong, that Cersei was working with Ilyana. Clearly they're
Yeah,
not working
same.
together. But maybe Ilyana's still bad. She could still be bad.
I think
if we
so.
go by what Cersei's saying.
For
So
sure.
what
There's
do you think?
something there. There's something there because why would Cersei say that, right? It's not like
Mhm.
she has a reason to make stuff up at that point. Like the question is what, right? Because for someone like Cersei to be good up against her, saying doomed us all, this isn't like
Mhm.
you screwed us. It's doomed is very like apocalyptic type of Ragnarok level, worldwide event. We're all gonna die. So I'm super
And you made
curious
her
because
care,
why?
right?
Yeah.
She cares. She's a villain, but she cares. What does that mean?
So it's many questions, and I don't know because like you and I suspected Eliana last week, so it's not exactly
Mhm.
how we thought, but I'm 100% sure she's not all that she's cut out to be. But the question is,
Just
what is it?
just for the fact that she was in the good gene pool
Especially
compared
in
to
that
everyone
ugly
else.
ass family. She's definitely not. She's not from that family, or she's like a test tube baby or something, right? Like,
Yeah. I feel like Cersei's coming after her for specific reasons, not because Cersei's a bad guy, but because
yeah,
Cersei needs to stop her. Yeah.
yeah.
I did like, what did you feel when Weasel had his moment to shine?
So I was like, damn, right? But I don't know. Maybe I don't understand Cersei's powers a little bit because I get the first hit, the first attack when he basically caught her off guard. But then when it was scratching her back, I was like, sis, do something. Like, lady, save yourself. But I'm just assuming he moves really, really fast, right? That's
Yes.
how I see it. But maybe
And
I don't know if it's I
overwhelming
don't
her.
get her powers. Yeah, I don't know if I don't get her powers or it's power scaling. But I definitely was like, girl, come on, don't receive this. And then when Phosphorus grabbed her
Oh,
face,
oh,
oh my gosh, I
oh.
actually felt that. It felt painful. Oh,
Yes.
and yeah.
Actually,
But
talking about
again,
phosphorus,
she didn't die. She's strong.
I like the part where phosphorus just uses the thing. You see the bullets
To
kind of
block the bullets. Or
disintegrate.
like this,
Yeah,
it's
with his
also his
powers.
powers are actually like amazing, but obviously I don't want them if I ever had powers.
Yes.
Like that's terrible. But it's crazy because I wonder what the limit of his powers really are, right? I feel like I see him going out with a bang. He's that kind
I
of
was gonna
character,
say,
right? He's going
can you
to
go thermonuclear, like
mm-hmm.
full on explosion?
100%.
Though I will say, in terms of Weasel and Cersei, someone actually asked that question to James Gunn. James Gunn's very active
I
on
saw.
social media, and yeah, he spoke
So
about Cersei's
she needs to
powers
use
coming
her
from
hands, right?
her
Or something.
hands. Yes, and yeah, exactly. So maybe that's what it was, where Weasel's just going at her, attacking her hands. Weasel would have, their team would have done some research on who they're going
Yeah,
after. So maybe they
definitely.
would have been like, this is what you have to do. But I did like it as a way to showcase, a character like Weasel can easily be overlooked as, what are you doing on our team?
Like
What can
silly
you
or
do?
like
Right,
random
right,
or what
right.
the hell, but
But it's like, no, it's still dangerous.
like extremely like what did what did Bride say? Like now you have your monsters, right?
Yes.
At the end, like damn,
Uh-huh.
those are for real monsters. This is not
Yeah.
a normal
Right.
encounter at all. So yeah, I guess shout out Weasel, right? He's instantly shown why he's there. And just to touch on the James Gunn point, I actually like that, right? I like grounded powers a little bit. Otherwise, it's
Mhm.
almost too powerful if you can just do anything with your mind. Like
Mhm.
I see you, Professor X, but I like when they have kind of a catch to the powers, right? You need to use your hands, or there's a 2-second limit between you, just all those kind of things. So for
Mhm.
that, I accept his answer just because otherwise she's too powerful. Like, I
Yes.
mean, she literally would be able to do anything. Like, so someone compared it to Wanda, Scarlet Witch in
Mm.
Avengers. First movie Ultron, she was still kind of learning, and I think Hawkeye wasn't is that the movie Hawkeye incapacitated her or
Yes.
whatever. One
Yes.
of the movies, yeah.
Yes.
But then by the end of her life, quote unquote, in Doctor Strange, bruh, she different. So I have that
Yeah.
same kind of vibe with Cersei, where it's like,
Mm.
if she survives, she's also going to, I guess, improve or start to work to counter that weakness because she knows,
Mm.
fine, I have to use my hands. Maybe I don't know, something to help her just overcome that kryptonite in her power usage. But again, yeah, I liked it just because otherwise, what's the point if she's just all powerful?
Speaking of kryptonite and their power usage, nice segue there, David. Thank you. Pat myself on the back.
That's yourself.
Nina and her powers, right? I loved when the god is like, "Here, your suit," and she's like, "What am I supposed to do?
What
You
did
go
you
help
do?
them." Instantly, he's killed.
He's like, what the hell? Yeah, right. But I love his question because he's like, what are you asking me? You're on this bloody team. Like, what do you mean? Like,
It's like, so you can help in the battle. What are you talking about? Like, you're just standing there doing nothing. Here's your suit. I went and got your suit because you're one of those super people that we hired, literally hired you to come for this reason.
For this exact reason. But I still don't get, because it still looked like a glass helmet, right? Unless I'm mistaken.
Right. No, it still looked like a glass helmet. I don't think we learned that lesson. No.
No comments.
Any other moments that you liked that we haven't spoken about?
Let's see.
Oh, actually, I was going to ask you.
Oh.
I was going to ask you in that sequence when they're at the, he's doing the kind of promotional circuits on the television show and he's just scanning everyone. It's like possible Nazis, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that they were Nazis? That cameraman looked very suspicious. I was like, oh shit.
I feel like there were, because what was the question? Like, did you check everyone here, or did you check their IDs?
Yeah.
And they're like,
yeah,
no, and he's like,
what?
It's like, come on.
And what I liked about that is that what we do know in real life, that a lot of Nazis did go into hiding after World War II, right? All over the world, different places. And so I like that as a little touch, because this is like, 10 years or so later, when it's like, well, actually, some of these people could have been former Nazis. And he asked the guy, that's what a Nazi would say.
Exactly. Exactly. I wrote that down. Literally. His banter was actually pretty good, Jairo, but I thought it'd be more one-dimensional because of the Nazi thing, but I feel like he had some nice quips and humor that kind of made him just a little bit more fun than I expected.
But I think it works because he leans into that one quip, right? And it leans into it, but it's funny. Like we talked about before. What would you like to do? Hang out with my boys and kill Nazis? Because you still come back to that, but it's
always about Nazis.
Right? But you make that one joke still feel funny, and because even again, that moment when he realizes that his new friend was a Nazi, that oh boy, because that oh boy is followed by I gotta kill Nazis.
I gotta kill Nazis. Yep. Consistency.
So it works. That one note works. That's why I said in the spoiler free where they did a good job of taking a character that on paper has no reason for us to connect with.
Yeah.
Isn't able to express physically, isn't able to express really audibly, right? Because even the tone of the voice is very monotone, but somehow we're still able to connect with it. Like his ending, his connection with Nina, I think that helps, right? We connect through his connection with Nina, and seeing her emotion is kind of like representative of how we feel in that moment for her. I thought that was really well done. I enjoyed that.
That's good. I agree. Like I said, I enjoyed him. It was a fun episode. Nitpicks aside, I don't think it was a bad episode at all. And I just want to see where this story gets pushed to.
I loved when the guards attacks and she gets scratched in the face by Ileana, and the guy's, dude, your face is really messed up. I think you need medical attention. I love when shows take the moment for those kind of real moments, right? Like, your face is f***ed up right now.
And even Ileana, when she shot, I was like, go on. You reminded you of?
No, because it reminded me of the scene in Iron Man 3 when Tony takes out all those guards, and the last guard's like, look, dude, I don't want to be here. I don't even like these guys.
please, don't. I'm not the villain. I'm just working a job, bro.
Yeah. You talk about Ileana?
Yeah, when she shot the guy, like, she closed her eyes and just shot him, and he was like, what? the shock, he never expected that.
What the hell? I like those, like, killed me?
Yeah. He literally had no idea that she was gonna be able to, and I just like you said, this kind of real moment where it's like, I mean, she fight or flight, and she was not trying to die.
Even before that, how she shot the other guy in the face with the gun under the chin. I was like, ooh. But yeah, I did like when Rick arrives and he's like, you're supposed to be monsters, not damsel in distress. Like he's so pissed off at them. What are you doing here?
Right,
and I love the whole moment. She's like, and he's like, there's nobody here. Yeah, I was just trying to tell you, take it off my mouth.
Like,
you think you're trying to warn him or something?
Great quips, but like you said, I think you mentioned last week, that's James Gunn's strength. Wow.
Yes.
Sentence. Those kind of like banter, funny moments, and I think it works well here. And I would definitely love to see it just like maybe get a little bit darker. I think it's not like it's not dark, but I feel like we're still kind of on the surface level, which is fine. It's third episode, but I would love for it to actually get just a little bit more serious, right?
Well, again, I think part of that is its length, right? Because when you want to get serious and you have to kind of give more time to marinate, but it moves so quickly. I don't know. I feel like you said, I don't know what they could do, because you're right in terms of comparing it to something like X-Men 97 that had more focused plot, dealing with more characters. yet, right? But yet, it was still able to kind of move it along. Maybe I have no idea how that works, and this does. But then maybe X-Men '97 has the benefit of having established characters. Right? We're not
Fair.
introducing you to new characters, so
Yeah.
you don't.
Yeah.
We're having some introductory moments, sure, in terms of this is a different iteration of these characters, but still the very
You know
core. We're
them.
not starting from scratch. We know them, right? So
Yeah,
they have the
yeah.
benefit of that. So,
That's fair.
but again, we'll see where it goes forward. Again, I'm just curious. I don't know if it's good or bad. I'm just curious in terms of we had the bride, and then we have this, and I feel like again, are we going to get a story where by the end of it we find empathy for all these characters, or are we going to get some episodes where you're like, no, that guy actually is a dick.
It's terrible. Yeah.
You know, I feel we could get that from Phosphorus.
Yeah.
Right?
Because he looks like
There's
a bad guy no matter what.
yeah, he's just an asshole. I just that's what I'm saying. I just hope it's not the same beats. I guess the beats are nice, the beats are cool, but I just it's like listening to different songs. We all have the same beat. It's like okay, like by the time
Come
we
on,
get to the fourth
give me
one,
some
it's like,
variety. Yeah, come on.
right?
Something
so-
fresh, please.
Yes, so that's my not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a little
Yeah.
nitpick. Anything else before we close? I think that's it. I've got.
That's basically it for me.
Yes. What do you nerdies think of this show so far? What do you think of this episode? And what do you think of the future of the DC universe? Actually, fun fact, as we record this, in 2 days' time, we're going to get our first revelation of Superman trailer. So, which is part of this universe. Yes. So excited for that. So let us know your thoughts and your expectations. Find us on social media at The Nerdy Bunch. You can also email us, thenerdybunchpodcast@gmail.com. And also, as always, please do us a favor. Whatever platform you're watching or listening to this on, please review us. Give us a thumbs up, star, whatever scale they use. And leave a comment. It's very much appreciated. Check out our other podcasts. We have Skeleton Crew. We have Dune Prophecy. We have Silo. And we have more stuff to come. Check it out. The Nerdy Bunch on all social media platforms. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, David.
My name's English Dave, and this has been a Nerdy Bunch presentation of the DC Watchtower, where we spoke about Creature Commandos Episode 3. And as always, Andrew,
Keep it nerdy.
peace.